Falls, and welcome to the feed. I'm Mike Smith. This is Marty Gallagher. And we're back in the studio. We're definitely 6 feet apart. We measure 2 meters sometimes. But it's good to be back.
It is good to be back. A little slice of normal.
And today we have Deb Fox with us. She's going to join us, and we're going to talk about the upcoming election for Village Trustees, and we're going to talk about issues and why she's running and what she wants to accomplish. But first, we're going to start with Marty. She's going to do an update on local events and graduation.
Yeah. So from everything I understand, and this is a situation that's probably a little bit in flux, so don't 100% quote me on exactly what I'm telling you, but graduation for Bellows Falls Union High School is on. They're going to be doing it on the football field. They're going to be limiting each graduate to 4 tickets only. I'm going to guess they're going to socially space the chairs for those graduates. And Fact TV will be helping them, and I believe Fact TV will be broadcasting it, possibly live, so people could watch it at home. But again, a lot of things are in flux. It's kind of like everything that's been going on. So stay tuned, and we'll keep you posted as far as what's going on. And in that same vein, Fact TV right now is working on a tribute video for the graduates. We're asking parents to come down to the Waypoint Center to film a little shout out, so that's in the works. And we're also asking, the letter just went out, and I know it's a little tight on timing, but the letter just went out to local businesses. We would like to invite local businesses to decorate their windows or their doors or some type of banner or sign congratulating the graduates, or some balloons or something, and we'll come around and we'll film it. We go in your shop. We won't ask you to be on camera. We'll just take a video of or still of your storefront, and then we'll add that to the video so that we really are showing community support for the local graduates this year, because they've had kind of a crazy time for graduation. So if you are a local business and you are off the beaten path, like you're not right in the downtown, and you fear that we might miss you, then I want you to contact me at greater, Greater, greater.rock@gmail.com, and I will make sure that we get you in the video.
That's great. And the date for the graduation is going to be the 16th, I think.
The 16th,
right?
Yeah, whatever that Thursday night is, yeah.
All right. So, and our guest today is Deb, a longtime resident.
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing all sorts of different things. And you just bought a house on Atkinson Street, right?
I did, yes, an auction property. And now that I hear with all of the virus stuff going on, we're lucky to have found a place. I guess a lot of the real estate is getting scooped up here quickly.
Well, yeah, that's what I've heard too, is that because of all the low outbreak and the way things are going, that people are and the fact that people can work at home now means that people are going to look for places to work at home. So we could see an influx of new citizens.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last one.
We could see an influx of new people coming from places that.
So, and I'm just glad to be here in Bellows Falls. I've been back in the area since 2006 after growing up in Vermont, and just always loved Bellows Falls, but never lived in the village itself. So I lived in Springfield for a while, and then just over the river in North Walpole, and finally here, so I'm within a walking distance, and it feels great to be in the downtown area.
Yeah, and just for people who, like you, it's not like you're new to Bellows Falls, though. You worked on the Chamber of Commerce, and you were doing excursions from the train station. Just a little bit of history of
yeah, so
what you've done.
In 2006, I came back to run the Green Mountain Railroad tourist trains here in Bellows Falls, and then my office ended up moving up to White River Junction when we moved more of the train rides up north. And then I got laid off in 2013, and that's when I went out on my own doing consulting. So since then, I've done work with the Chamber of Commerce and also with other railroads in some other states, and also published a magazine called Vermont by Rail, which highlights all the Amtrak stops in Vermont and what you can do when you get there. I mean, we're in a great spot here, actually, and now that the governor's talking more about staycations for this summer and fall, what a great opportunity for folks up north in Burlington to come down for the day and have lunch and walk around and then head back in the evening. It's a great excursion for that purpose.
Yeah.
We just don't market it enough, and I think that's an opportunity that we have here to do that.
So is that one of the reasons you're thinking about running for village trustees, or?
I think that's part of it. Definitely part of it. I come from, when I moved back here, I was in a town called Lyons, New York, which was very similar to Bellows Falls. And there I was a trustee, and I was also superintendent of public works for the village for a while. So I've got a lot of background, not only being on a board, and I've been on many boards since that one, but I think it's really important to have that kind of background. I mean, being a superintendent, you get involved with everything from sewer and water to the streets and, the whole gamut you're in charge of. So I think that's very valuable for me to have that experience and come into this situation. And being on a board, I mean, it's really important. One of my things that I really hope to bring to the table is the communication. And I think it's just really important how we bring up situations, how we talk about them. I mean, look, we're all not going to agree. We're all not going to like each other, but there's some professionalism that needs to be brought to the table. And I think that alone would get a lot more done in both the village and the town.
Yeah.
What do you see as some of the current hot topic issues that through your eyes from the town? What do you, or excuse me, the village?
Well, the most recent one that I read about, and I just want to comment on what I read about, and again, I have not talked to the people, and this is one thing that bothers me, that we read so much information and hear different things from other people, but we're not talking to the people who are involved to get it straight out of their mouths. But one of the things that really surprised me recently in the local articles, was the interim manager that we have, and letting some people go, and the department heads not even knowing that those people were being let go. That really bothers me. Not that, whether or not he had the ability to do that and he was allowed to do that, I don't even want to get there or go into that. But the important thing to me is that, we'll take the tax department. There's no reason why those 3 assessors could not have been included in that kind of decision, or not even being told that was happening. I mean, that's just stirs the pot, and it just does not look good to people like me who live here, and not having that communication is just really bothersome.
Yeah, and I think part of it is due to the fact that they need to, or at least what they say is they need that it's because it's a personnel issue, it's executive session, but it doesn't sound like this was like that either. And I agree with you. You hear the rumors behind the news, and it's hard to figure out what is fact and what is fiction. Mm-hmm. And it does come across as sounding really bad. It's like it sounds like they laid off this woman just before she could retire, and I mean it was
Yeah, so that's kind of a hot topic for me. The other thing I really hope to be involved with, and I know we had those meetings here a while ago in the village where residents got together and businesses got together to talk about not only tourism, but a lot of different downtown topics. And I think they went really well. I don't know where that is, and how we can use that information to the best of our ability to make this a better place. I hope it wasn't just one of those things that got shoved on a shelf, because that happens a lot when you have those types of meetings and gatherings. But I think a lot of great ideas came out of that. And one of the things that I like I've managed a lot of people in the past, and I've managed $1 million budgets in the past, and you always have people that you're not going to be able to satisfy. And what I hope to do is when people come to the meetings, or even write in or contact me and indicate that there's a problem somewhere that needs to be looked at, I really encourage people to come up with a suggestion on how to improve it. I find that we're always out there and we're always picking on things and what's wrong and not all these things that we could do better, but people don't come to the table and say, well, you could try this and do it better. They just want to complain about everything that's wrong and not be part of the solution. So I would encourage people to do both, bring up the problems, but also, dig deep and come up with some really good suggestions on what might work.
Yeah,
you never know what comes out of it. And I work now full-time. I work remotely here, but I work full-time for a railroad down in the Finger Lakes region of New York. And, we're always having to come up and talk to the public, because I don't like trains in the backyard. And, all of this stuff ends up being, phone call after phone call that you get complaints, but nobody has comes up with any kind of idea of how to make it better, except stopping the trains altogether. That's not gonna happen. So,
That's true.
So it sounds like you've got some experience under your belt in the types of topics or the types of situations you might be dealing with, like
Yes.
complaints and, transparency and communication and, some very important.
And town government,
And town
and the
government,
function
yeah.
of a municipality, by the sounds of it. You worked in a municipality, and so you understand sort of the mechanics of that and maybe the politics of that.
right.
Yeah, that's pretty good. As far as the sustainable Rockingham things that went out, they're
Yes.
still there. It's just that when the COVID came in, it pushed everything, it sort of just pushed everything. And they haven't been able to mobilize enough. But they've been trying to do Zoom meetings and things like that, but it is really difficult. I think maybe
It is, it's very difficult and very interesting, this whole Zoom thing and how we are doing things remotely. And I'll be interested to see, I know there are a lot of businesses that have really taken a hard hit through this whole pandemic. And I really, hope that they can survive. There are a lot of places that are gonna close, not necessarily here, but around the whole country and world that just can't make it after this kind of situation. So,
I guess that brings up because if you're interested in doing this, it seems like revenues are coming into this town and to the village, and there I am again, and the state in general are reduced, and so
Right.
we're probably not going to get as much money from the federal government or the state. Maybe we don't, and it's with this time of flux. What do you think? What would priorities be for you? I guess is it.
priorities for me would be sustainability being number one. I know that a lot of people think that we have a high tax rate here, and we just don't have but again, there you have it. You don't have the businesses coming in like we could see on the island to bring in more of a tax base. So I would really like to work closely with the development office and understand what things are in play and what I might be able to do with my connections in bringing more people here, not only on the business side, but as traveling and tourists. I also work part-time for a tour guiding company, and I bring, last year, I think 5 different tours into town for at least lunch and a little tour that we do around town. But I think there's a lot of potential for that. I actually met with the chamber and a few other folks last fall to talk about how we can do that. How can we make Bellows Falls more of a hub for those folks to stop? I mean, we have plenty of room for motor coach parking, which is great. A lot of villages don't have that or don't even have a location to drop people off.
Yeah.
And a lot of the tour groups are, an elderly population. So that may even change this year. I've already had a ton of cancellations on some Road Scholar tours, culinary tours through Vermont this year. So I think that's going to back down a little bit. And then the other tours being more elderly folks, that might be a factor in why they don't travel this year. But so I think the sustainability is a big one for me. Working to see how we can just make this a safer and better place. I like the fact that we have diversity here. We don't have much in Vermont, but there seems to be, some here in the village, and in other places we see more people coming here from out of state. My daughter and her husband moved here from Brooklyn a few years back, and a friend of theirs who down from actually Florida and then New York City just moved here about a month ago.
Yeah.
To stay. And they're younger people, and I like seeing that, and I like to see that they're getting involved with the village as well. So I really hope that, I can bring in that, not only that younger crowd, but also residents who have been here for many years and bring those groups together in, one fashion.
That's a great idea. And people, it's an interesting concept because of the fact that I know you've been here for all your life, and I moved here, but it's the idea of moving here. The people who come and make that conscious choice to move here are usually really pretty strong contributors. They may not be involved in government, and they may not know everyone, but they probably have a business and a business sense, or
Right.
they're doing some sort of service, but they're here because they chose, and that's a really strong incentive and a strong.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of stories with people moving to the area, and they had come here once maybe to visit family or friends, or they came to the Roots on the River Festival, or, you know, just drove through and really loved it and ended up here and
Yeah.
making this their home.
And I think to circle back to the Take Action Rockingham group meetings that happened, there was a lot of those people that turned out to those meetings. They love the town, they moved here because they wanted to, and they want to see things change. There was really good momentum, and then COVID hit, and it's a little bit of a struggle because everybody kind of went into reactionary mode. So it's refreshing to hear that somebody that's looking to get involved in the town government is interested, to try to maybe help facilitate somewhat, getting that energy going again, because it's really on us. I mean,
Right,
the rural
right.
development did their job, and then it becomes the town's job to take it forward. And yes, we're working with an extraordinarily weird situation, but it's all, at the end of the day, it
Yeah.
all matters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what else would you like the public to know as far as Deb Fox and candidate for village trustee?
All right, well, I really hope to get into this position. I feel that since I've not been involved with the local government, that I've wanted to get back into it. So I'm really excited to have an opportunity here to be really a part of the village and the people who live here. I'm a pretty direct person. I'm honest. I'll speak up when I need to speak up. However, I am a very good listener as well. So I encourage anybody who, before the election or after, to please feel free to contact me at any time. Again, I work remotely, so I'm here most of the time and haven't been doing any traveling with the virus. And I don't know how my job actually, when I do go back to New York, how that's going to change, and when and if I'll do any train rides this year anyway. And I just, I've got a lot of experience not only in the local government, but in development. I not only run the manager of passenger services for the railroad, but I work on special projects and economic development. So we're working on a lot of different and really neat, unique, out-of-the-box ways of bringing in business.
Right.
And people. And I think I can do that very well with the experience that I do have. And again, I'm very approachable. I, again, would encourage anybody to give me a call or reach out if they have any specific questions, or please feel free to let me know what you'd like me to work on. I mean, there are a lot of things that, of course, I'm interested in, but I do want to be able to be available for those folks in any manner.
Okay, thank you.
I was just gonna remind everybody, I meant to do this in the beginning, but the election is, the town meeting is Monday, June 15th.
Okay.
And the election is, I think it's on that Tuesday, and I'm gonna get flack if I don't have the right dates, but I believe it's Monday, June
Yeah, I'll
15th.
do it.
And Tuesday, June 16th is the election. And just, I know we're running out of time, we're running
That's
low on
all
time. Just to reach out to the other candidates, you're more than welcome to contact us, and we can get you on. We only have a couple Wednesdays till then, but we can still try to make sure we get you on. Maybe we could do a special more than one person forum, but you gotta reach out to us and we will try to do our best to make sure we get you on.
Great. And I want to thank Deb for coming on. It's great having you on. Good luck with
Thank
the
you very
election.
much.
Yes,
One
good
of the
luck.
things that impresses me is you're the first person I've talked with locally who's talked about the governor's marketing effort. And that is really, I think that's money that we should be really trying to get, because it's
Absolutely.
yeah. And I don't know exactly how we could do it, if we can put together a group to do it, but it seems like it's something that we should really be working on getting.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And more important than ever right now.
yeah, really.
Businesses
And it's
are-
there.
yeah,
It's the
it's
first
there.
time they've really offered something like that, where
Yeah.
they're marketing local places so
Mm-hmm.
that people will come. Well, I think that's about it. And so thank you, Deb. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And
Come on again, because there's so much to talk about. It's great having you on. And I hope that I've asked Jeff, if Jeff were to be elected, I asked him if he would come on, because I think what you talked about communication, one of the things that we don't get is people coming on and sort of saying oh, this is what we're working on and this is why we're working on it. And, you know, that not everybody watches the meetings and not everybody
Right.
has time to watch the meetings. So
Yeah.
if we had some sort of town,
Like a little synopsis of.
yeah, something that would just say, you know,
I'd love to do that, be
Yeah.
part of that.
okay, great.
Great.
Well, thank you. I think that's all the time we have for today. I
All
cannot,
right.
yes, I can't figure out which camera I'm looking at, but here we are. This is Fact TV, and welcome. See you
We'll
next
see you
week.
later.
This is the feed.
Bye.